I've been counting cards for 30 hours now, and I've been banned from my local casinos. So for the next 5 days, I will be on the road going on my first card counting road trip. Here's the plan. I'm going on a 5-day trip with the goal to get in as much time at the tables as possible. I've scouted out 5 casinos that seem to have the best games for my bankroll along a route that will let me not stay too long in one place, so I don't overstay my welcome. So far, I've only got about 30 hours into my journey, so this week I could potentially get another 20 to 30 hours in if I can actually get time at the table. Getting 5 to 6 hours a day seems doable with my current spread. Well, no time like the present. We embark on our first road trip starting with a 3-hour drive. Our first stop is a little place called Hollywood Casino in Joliet, Illinois. This place has a 6-deck, $15 minimum table, where they deal 5 of the 6 decks. Here's the bet spread I was going to be implementing at this casino. And usually, when I run my simulations, depending on the game, I will estimate between 100 to 120 rounds per hour. So for this game, I was going into it thinking I'd make about $30 an hour. I got to this casino at about 7 p.m. on a Wednesday night, so it wasn't too packed. I played mostly heads up here, and due to that fact, I went back and counted, and I was actually getting about 164 hands per hour in, so my hourly EV was more like $42 instead of $30. This shows the power of playing heads up, and how much of an effect it can have on your EV. I'd already been playing here for over an hour, and it was mainly hovering around neutral counts. I was still up $25 on the session though. The first hand here, the dealer draws to a 17, so we push, but with all the small cards drawn, the count is now a running 4, meaning a true 1 with about 4 decks left. As always, I will put the running count in the top right if you want to count along, as well as the session profit in the top left, just to help better paint the picture. Doubled our 10 here, so $60 on the line, and dealer busts, so that's plus $60. Next hand, we hit our 13 to a 22, so we lose, but at least we went down swinging. I'm starting to feel more comfortable at the tables now, but one thing I haven't had much experience with is playing heads up with the dealer. I'm not the most social person, and I don't want to look like a robot at the table just watching the cards, but I also don't really just want to talk about blackjack the whole time. Most people don't come to the casino just to quietly sit at the blackjack table and play. They come here to drink, talk, and have a good time. So I was trying to chat up the dealer this session. It's quite the mental test trying to compartmentalize your thoughts and have part of your brain keeping track of the numbers, while another part of your brain is talking about Taco Bell chicken nuggets or whatever you end up yapping about. I'm always grateful when there are other players at the table that are the big yappers, and I can just be the supporting cast. On a bit of a hot streak here, winning our last 2 hands, and we have a 10 versus dealer 6. So, a good time to double. We nail the perfect ace, so we can't possibly lose. And, dealer pulls 2 face cards for the bust. Something I was doing during this streak of hands was not dropping my bet down after a win. The running count was 2 with about 3 decks left here, so I should have dropped my bet down to table minimum. But since I just won my last hand, it makes sense for me to leave the bet out and let it ride. Most gamblers aren't going to mess with a winning stack of chips if it has won them 3 hands in a row. This is a cover play that will cost you some EV, but it actually ended up making me some money on this streak of hands. Letting our lucky stack of reds ride and the dealer busts again, so we have now won 4 bets in a row. These are my lucky reds. $5 or $10? $10? $10? No. Let's go back down. This streak of hands was pretty much all of my profit on this session, and I ended up winning $130 in 2.25 hours. A little bit over EV for this session, which is a nice start to the trip. The first couple of stops on the trip are both database participants. This means they will share my information with other casinos if they catch me counting cards. So, I didn't want to overstay my welcome at these spots. I only played for 2 hours before heading 40 minutes up the road to stop number 2 on the trip, from Hollywood Joliet to Hollywood Aurora. Aurora has a $20 minimum game, which is pretty unique, so my spread looks something like this. I'd been playing here for a while now and had cut out some of the back counting and neutral counts. I was up on the session though already, about $50 in the green. The count was a running 5, so roughly a true 1 with 4.5 decks left. We slide out our true 1 bet of $50 and boom, Blackjack. That pays 3-2, so plus 75 bucks. Keep the lucky greens out, and this time, dealer has an ace. No blackjack for the dealer, so we end up hitting our hand to a 24. That's minus 50 bucks. Put another $50 bet out there, and our 20 ends up beating the dealer 15 into a bust. With that hand, the count drops back down, so we lower our bet to table minimum. Fast forward 2 hands with 2 losses, and the count jumps back up to call for our $50 bet. We get dealt a soft 17 against dealer 4. A pretty nice spot to be in. Pretty much every card you get helps your hand, and the dealer still has a high chance to bust. We double for the perfect 21 and can't possibly lose. Dealer draws to 19, so we just won $100. I had another guy behind me watching me play on this session, who was cheering for me when I won. At first, I thought he might be another card counter back counting, but he never sat down or anything. And I offered for him to sit down when the count was pretty positive just to see, and he said no thanks because he was taking a break. Still have yet to see another card counter out in the wild, which has got to be a pretty cool experience. Just lost 2 $50 bets in a row, but look at all the small cards that came out. We throw out a $100 bet, expecting some high cards. And we get dealt a stinking 8 against dealer ace. A bit unlucky, but we are given the option to take insurance. Insurance is a side bet given when the dealer has an ace up card. You can put out up to half of your original bet if you think the dealer has a 10 under. Usually this is a terrible bet to take, except the genius card counters before me have ran the math and figured out this is a profitable bet to make if you have a true 3 or above. Welp, we are just under a true 3 with a running 11 and only 2 decks dealt, so we don't take insurance. Dealer of course has a 10 under, so minus $100 on the hand. Stay with the true 2 bet of 100, and we get 12 against dealer 10. We hit our 12 into 22, and dealer had a 10 under, so we were screwed either way, minus another $100. Running 7 now with about 4 decks left, so a true 1.5-ish, and I only had 3 green chips left in front of me, so I just put them all out there. Soft 18 versus dealer 6 is a double, and we're out of greens, so we put 75 in reds out there and hit an ace for 19. Dealer flips a 5 for 11, then a 7 for 18. Phew, that was a close one. Plus 150 on the hand. Keep my lucky greens out there, and dealer has another ace up. This is not fun. Not quite a true 3, so no insurance, and dealer has a blackjack yet again. Why can't I be getting these? Still a true 1.5-ish, so we put another 75 out there. Three small cards come out, then we turn our 8 into an 18. Dealer also draws the 18. All that for nothing. Next hand, dealer has another ace up. At least no blackjack, and we end up with a 19. Pretty good spot until dealer flips an 8, all that for nothing again. Next hand, 3 more small cards come out, and we hit until 16. Bad camera angle here, but the dealer ends up busting with the 25. Count is now a running 9 with 3 decks left, so a true 3. I say, time to stack it and put my winnings on my bet for 150 total. This is when the heart starts pumping a bit more. At my old job, I made $150 in one day. Now I'm risking it all on one hand of blackjack. How did my life end up here? I get dealt a dang 13 against a 7. Hit for now a 16. So basically, if I hit, I bust. And if I stand, dealer flips a 10 for 17. Well, time to go down swinging. I hit and end up with one too many, 22. Next hand, I put another day's salary out there and get dealt another dang 13 against dealer ace. With a running 10 and 3 decks dealt, it is time to take insurance. I put $75 out there, dealer checks, and nobody home. That's minus 75. And our hand is crappy, so it's time to hit, and we get dealt another 3 for 16. 16 stands against dealer ace at a true 3, so I stand, and dealer flips an 8 for 19, minus $225 on the hand. Fast forward 2 hands where I won 1 and lost 1, it is now time for the final hand of the shoe. With a running 6 and around 1.5 decks left, I bet $200. Heart is definitely pumping a bit faster here. And we get dealt a soft 16 against a beautiful dealer 6. With a running count this high, this dealer 6 feels like a guaranteed win. I could just get a 4 or 5 on my double down 2 to pretty much secure a win. I buy $100 more in chips because I only have $85 in front of me. Okay, but for some reason the dealer only gives me reds, so my double down is this huge stack. Okay, no more funny business. I double down for $385 total and get dealt an 8 for 14. Not looking great, but with a dealer 6 we still have a good chance to win. Dealer flips a 2 for 8. Please don't do it. Then an ace for 19, and we just lost close to $400.
Time for me to head out.
Oh my goodness.
Nice playing with you.
It was great playing with you guys. You guys were fun.
I decided to wave the white flag after this hand and call it a day. I got a lot of big bets out there and even took insurance once, so I felt like some heat was coming my way. This session, I lost $695 in 3 hours. This was one of my roughest sessions yet, and it really stung. So far on my journey, I have been very fortunate to experience a positive upswing, so it felt like some big losses were inevitable soon. Something still crazy to me is that these multi-hour long sessions are ultimately decided by 1 or 2 big hands. If I had won that last hand, I would have been up on the session. But instead, I left down $695 in a head spinning of what ifs. I went back to my hotel and played some Cuphead before falling asleep, ending day 1 of my road trip down $565.
Good day for us. Well done. Now go.
I woke up the next day ready to hit the tables. My next stop was a 50-minute drive away, so I scarfed down some free hotel breakfast before heading out. My third stop on this trip was Wind Creek, Chicago, Southland. I liked this place because it wasn't a database participant. I got here at about noon on a Thursday, and they still had a whole pit open with 4 blackjack tables ready. Seemed to be quite the busy casino. Due to the fact that they had 4 blackjack tables open, I wanted to employ a strategy where I was heavily wonging in and out of these tables. I'm sure most of you watching know this, but for my mom or some other people unfamiliar with blackjack lore, wonging is a term named after Stanford Wong, who commonly discussed this strategy in his books. Basically, it means you will stand behind the table and count, and then jump or wong in when the count goes high and the player has the advantage, and then leave the table when the count is negative and the player has the disadvantage. Utilizing this strategy can greatly reduce your risk, and it is especially nice for people like me who might be playing on a smaller bankroll and can't withstand the swings of playing all counts. The way the pit was set up, I could watch 2 blackjack tables at a time. So here I am standing behind these blackjack tables just trying to blend in. I would stand on one side of the pit and keep count of these tables, and if the count was negative and I saw a table on the other side of the pit was about to shuffle, I would casually make my way over there and start watching these freshly shuffled tables. I did this for about 40 minutes before finally a count got to a true 1, so I decided to sit down. Jump right into the table with a $50 bet, and we get dealt a 14 against dealer 10. We ask for a baby card and get an adolescent, so we bust. Count jumps up to a running 12 though, with roughly 4 decks left, so I put out a true 3 bet of $150, hoping to make some of that money back from last night's loss. Boom! Hit a blackjack, let's go! That's plus $225. The guy to my left got up from the table, which I always think is ironic when normal players play during the whole shoe, then finally get up when the count and odds are finally in their favor. But it means more cards for me, so I spread to 2 hands of $50. My first hand is a 7, I hit for 14, hit again for too many, that's minus 50. Stand on my second hand of 17, and dealer flips a 7, so 1 push, 1 loss. Count drops back down, so just 1 hand to 50. Our 1 hand is a 16 against dealer 9. We go down swinging, and that's another $50 loss. Stay with the true 1 bet, and we get an 8 versus dealer 5. I like this spot. Hit our hand to a 14. Dealer flips a 3, into a 10 for 18, and we lose back-to-back $50 hands. Count at least jumped up during the loss, so we go back to 2 hands of 50. Ooh, get an ace on our second hand. And blackjack. Hit our first hand to an 18, and instant win our second. My right hand doesn't make a good window, but it's an ugly scene anyway. The dealer draws to a 19 with a 6 and an ace, beating our first hand, so only plus $25 on the hand. Count jumped up to a running 9 with about 2 decks left, so our true 4 bet of 2 hands of $100. This is one of those big hands that can make or break your session. And we get a beautiful ace, come on. Not quite. Then dealer checks, and of course has an ace under, so we just instantly lose $200. That sucks. I put out 2 hands of $75, and are these not 2 of the ugliest hands that you can imagine? A 13 and 15 against dealer 8. Need some help and hit our first hand into a 15, then hit again into a 22, so minus $75. Not bad though, hit our second hand into a 19, and dealer flips a 10, so I push overall. Last hand of the shoe now, and I put out 2 hands of $75. Get dealt a soft 16 and a 15 against dealer 8. Turn the first hand into a soft 18, so a good chance to push. Second hand busts. Then dealer flips a 2 under. Please don't do it. And then a 10 for 20. And just like that, I just lost $300. I was so excited for this road trip and had such high hopes, but you know what they say.
Game of cards reflects life itself.
This game of cards was not treating me well. I was starting to feel pretty discouraged after losing so much money. I went back to my back counting and jumped around a bit before finally playing what will be the final stretch of hands for this video. I had been playing at this casino for a while now and hadn't been getting any heat, so I wanted to just keep on playing through the loss. Jump in where I just won $90 on last hand, and the count is now a running 6 with about 3 decks left, so I put out 2 hands of $50. Get dealt an 18 and soft 19 against dealer 10. Dealer flips a 3, then a 5 for 18, so we win one, push one, so plus $50. Next hand, I get a 13 and 17 against dealer 4, stand on both. Dealer flips a 6 for 10, then 9 for 19, and there goes $100. This dang casino, every time someone hit a jackpot, they would play this sound. So here I am losing hundreds of dollars, hearing, "Let's get ready to hit a jackpot. It's electric!" every 10 minutes. I honestly don't know how the dealers can stand working here. I felt like I was going crazy by the end of this session. They legitimately were playing this probably every 10 minutes. It probably doesn't help that I was losing money. Maybe if I had been winning money on the session, I would have been bumping my head and singing along with it. Next hand, we have 2 $50 bets out, and we lost one, push one, so minus $50 total. Count jumped up to a running 6, so a true 3 with about 2 decks left. So I put out 2 bets of $75. Get dealt a 14 and an 11 against dealer 7. Hit our 14 into a 22, and get a 7 on the double. Dealer flips an 8 into the bust, so we just won $75 on the hand. It's electric! Count drops back down to a true 2, so I bet 2 hands of 50. Get dealt a 6 and 19 against dealer 8. Hit the 6 into eventually a 21. And dealer flips a 3 into a 7 for 18, and we just won $100. With all the small cards out that hand, count is now a running 6 with about 1.5 decks left, so a true 4, so I put out 2 bets of $100, and I am so ready to hit a jackpot. Final hand of the shoe, and I get dealt a 13 and 20 against the dang dealer ace. With all the high cards out, the count is now a running 2, so no insurance. And what do you know, dealer flips over a 10, and I just lost $200. How did my life end up here? I played a bit more this session, but all the damage had already been done. I ended up losing $478 in what was one of my longest sessions yet at 5 hours. With that session wrapped up, here's where my road trip numbers are currently at. I have lost $1,043 in 10 hours of play. That's alright though, because this is only part 1 of my road trip. Part 2 of this trip coming out soon, where I visited my first ever tribal casino and surely turned things around, right? If this seems like something that you would be interested in, be sure to stay tuned. But for now, this is Frog, signing off.